Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I was doing a workshop that talked about the seriousness of active shooter. And first thing first, I put this disclaimer out there. By no means am I supporting, advocating for anybody to take the law in your hands. But this is just coming from a less lethal standpoint with some lethal situation. Of course, if this was a lethal situation, you're going to match it accordingly. But most people, they talk active shooter, they talk about church, unfortunately schools, and firstly churches, places where it's vulnerable. Usually 1 out of 3 you can't have anything, and that includes less lethal. Most people don't bother if you have pepper spray. It's a very serious subject that I take very serious, that by all means seek your church or any business or work or whatever their policies, and go according to that. I am extremely careful on this subject because it's the unthinkable, right? It's the absolutely unthinkable. We hope doesn't happen, but definitely can happen. Fight, flight, and freeze is usually the 3 response. And everybody don't handle trauma the same. And no matter what you train for, it ain't nothing like being dressed in the middle of it. Nothing like it. But if you just happen to have less lethal on you, man, I wouldn't go out there blazing. I've definitely pulled that out if you have nothing else. Like, of course, barricade the door. If you got a window opportunity, break it. But what I have understand of active shooter training is usually sometimes they don't work alone. Sometimes they know other people going to exit the other side, then they're going to come through, and just stuff that I dare not to mention, because I don't believe in putting stuff in the atmosphere. But we know the unthinkable. Of course, call the cops. Of course, fight, flight, freeze, barricade. If you can, get out if you can. If you want to help people, help get out of the situation and call for help. Most active shooters, to my training, is they know they are a kind of a death wish, and they just, wherever in their sickness, they do their sickness. For me, I always carry, when permitted, lethal and less lethal. Of course, less lethal, some things are less lethal, and then some things are lethal. Of course, I'm going to take lethal to handle lethal situation, but less lethal. But this is the case where lethal, your targets, aim your targets and stuff like that. If this is less lethal, I keep maybe 4, 5 pepper balls on me, and 1 in the chamber of my byrna, and I have 1 less lethal, 1 pepper ball in each of my rounds, and I carry 3, I believe, total of 4. So pepper ball can slow them down. But some people, when they're in that psychosis, it may take a minute, and a minute is a minute too long when it comes to safety. I can only tell you a self-defense thing is I'm basically going to trying to have a group of people and we're going to charge that person. But less lethal-wise, do enough to get yourself out and run. Less lethal is not going to match lethal. Let's not even pretend. So the best less lethal is you make sure you put yourself in a situation where you're defenseless. I won't be defenseless. I'm going to always have some type of weapon on me, unless I cannot, like court or a job or anything like that. You got to take that all in advisement. It's a scary thing. It's a very scary subject, which I hope I never have to experience in my daytime. I hope nobody I love was experienced, because it is a trauma like no other. And people are sick. People are sick, and sick in the head, sick in the mind, and this is where people get kind of touchy on gun control. I definitely believe in gun control. Even though I am lethal, I believe there should be more gun control. Definitely everybody have the right to bear arms, but everybody don't have entitled to have every weapon. That's what I personally believe. At all given time, there should always be somebody. If you can't have lethal weapon, there should be somebody that is paid with lethal capabilities, like a security guard. Every organization should have some type of security guard that has access to firearms. Just point blank period, because what you try to do is time. Time is what you're trying to buy. And I've done security. I've been head of security, for a church, and you want time, eyes, and most places not ready. They do videos, but ain't nothing like doing simulation. Even the simulation, nobody's hearing you with less lethal. Prepare. Just prepare for the inevitable. Just prepare, so those things don't happen, right? So, all right, guys, have a good one.